I had a friend that used to live in my area that was a photographer, and I could not understand how she got these images that she did, and the light was always perfect. Finally, one day she told me the truth, and I'm about to tell it to you. Now, this was a little while ago, so what I'm about to show you is not exactly the same, but it's the same concept. And it's something that she was using in Photoshop, but now we have the ability to use this as a standalone application, as a plugin in Photoshop or Lightroom. It's called Boris FX Optics, and it's a plugin for Photoshop, Lightroom, or a standalone. Now, here's the thing. If you've heard of this program before, you may be thinking, that's nice, Vanessa, that you can put lightning bolts into your photos and make something that wasn't even there and it's now there and it's crazy. And that's really the extent of this program. It is insane. But what I'm going to show you is how I would use this and how basically my friend did in the past, where you just add a little something special, a little something subtle that takes your photo from pretty darn good to wow. Let's hop over and I'll show you what I mean. So here I have some images opened in Lightroom. These were all taken with the Canon M50 and used some inexpensive flashes, the EL100 and then also the 470. So it's only going to do so much. I mean, I'm happy with the results, but I thought these might be some fun ones to play with the lighting effects. And of course, I'm going to show you a ton of before and afters that I've already done. So let me go ahead and hit edit in Boris FX Optics. Now again, you can have the standalone. You can have it as a plugin in Photoshop, and this one is the plugin for Lightroom. So it's going to make a copy of it, and that, in my opinion, is key to make the copy of it. So you can see I've got two of these open right here. I'm just going to close the standalone so we're not running too much at the same time. Now, when you first open this, this is scary. I'm not going to lie. It's scary when you first open it because you just have so many possibilities, but let me break this down for you. Down here, just start flipping through and looking and trying them out. It doesn't have to be crazy. I'm going to go into the light one here, and I'm going to start with something that's pretty familiar to me, maybe this lens flare or this light leak. We tend to know what both those things are, so those are nice things to start with. Now on the left-hand side up here, this is basically your layers, and you can stack on different layers. You can delete them just as easily. And you know, that's just your layers over there. So you'll see that as we go along. So I'm gonna click on lens flare, and it's just gonna have a default that's going to come up, and you can start messing around with this. You know, maybe you want to move this, which I definitely want to move this right now, and I'm gonna pop that maybe over here. And then you can change some of the other things to it. So if you come over here, you've got these parameters. They might be on the bottom. You might have to just look for that tab that says parameters. And this is where you can start playing. You know, we can make, you know, the adjustments bigger or smaller and really play with the brightness, and the hue shift is really fun, and that's what I'm going to play with here because I want it to match what I've got going on with this red and the yellowish green. So that's where I'm going to play the most here. And again, just a ton of controls, and I do want some more saturation. Do we want green? I think I want to go actually maybe yellowish. Yeah. That'll match a little bit better if we stick there. And everything is just so fine-tuned. I mean, look, this is the ray brightness here. So it's a lot of fun. Just start with something simple, easy to play with. There we go. So I think this is what I want to do. I don't want to do anything absolutely crazy, right? We don't need to go insane for what I'm doing. Oh, I do like this though. A little bit more flare, right? A little bit more. Ba-doo. There we go. So this is a good example of what I would do here. Now from here you can stack. So I'm just going to stack right there, and then maybe I'll put like the light leak, right? Because the light leak might be cool. All right, so just mess around, have fun. Now, anytime that you click on one of these styles down here, you can come over to the presets, and there's a whole bunch of different options there. Like, bam, now I got some Santa Anita happening. So just play. So this looks pretty good to me. Now, if there are parts that you don't want the light effect on, they have masks here that you can use in case you want some of the effect affecting some part of the picture and not the other. So like you can see, maybe I just want it here, or maybe I just want it over here, or you can of course obviously do the reverse of these. You can resize these however you want to. I actually like how it looks on the whole thing. So there's lots of possibilities here. And then of course, when you're done, go ahead and save it back out to Lightroom. And now that we're back in Lightroom, you can see the difference between these two. And again, it's really subtle. It's not super crazy. I'm not looking to create, at least for me and what I do, something totally out of the ordinary, but that does a really good job at just giving a little bit something extra, especially in this area here where it, you know, it was a little bit of a fall off there. You'll be able to see, by the way, the creation of this image along with Manny Ortiz in one of the Budget Photography Gear Wars series. Let me show you what I have done with other images, just so you can see how I liked using them and a little bit of the before and afters. All right, so this photo here, this is the original, and then all I did was apply a preset. It's the soft light preset. Remember, there are a ton of presets in here too, and I added this little rainbow. Adding the rainbow is a lot of fun, so that's done right there. This one, I just added an old film style preset. That's all I did there. So it can be pretty basic if you want it to. Or this one, I just added a little sunshine and another little rainbow down on the floor. Now, some of it's, you know, not exactly following the rules of light, but that's just my choice on where I placed it. The cool thing about Boris FX Optics is that it actually does follow rules of light, and you can make things that are hyper realistic versus me just making dreamy things. Oops, actually this was the before here, and that's the after, which is similar to what we just did to the photo. Then we got this one, here's my before, and that's my after, just adding that little rainbow. So for my style, that whole rainbow thing, or like this one here is the before and the after, I basically just put the little color blur here that you already saw on this side. So I just evened it out, added a little rainbow up there. It's subtle, but it's doing the job for me. And then I've got this one where I just added a moon. You know what, real quick, I think I'm just going to show you the rainbow effect because I know a lot of people will probably end up liking to use that. So let's go ahead to, here, let's just use these. This is a cute one that we could totally do a rainbow effect. So let's go ahead and edit in Boris FX Optics, making a copy. And just so you can see some of the other options before I get into that, you go into color and we've got all of these different color enhancing ones so you can really correct here. You've got diffusions and blurs, frost halo. We'll get to the film lab here, which can add, you know, different grain. And remember, anytime that you click on something here, like you add grain, there's a whole subset of options that you've got going on. It's pretty much every Photoshop action for the most part that I have ever owned. And there are a ton of different options really to fit almost anything you could possibly want to do with these. So yeah, a million presets, a million and a half. If you're interested in optics, either now or after we take a look at this, Boris FX has given me 20% off to give to you guys. So you can use this for any option, whether you purchase and own it or choose an annual or monthly subscription. I've got the coupon code here, but of course I'll leave the link in the description. So here's a bunch of different tints right here. This is on the image itself, messing around with the lens, distortion, and this one's really light. So remember I told you before that I used that soft light preset, that was right here. There's my soft light, but then you have all these presets underneath there. Actually, I think I'm gonna use, yeah, let's use that because I think that'll look better. So now that I've applied that effect, I'm gonna go hit plus, bring it to a new layer, and then I'm gonna get the rainbow action. So there's the rainbow right off the bat. And of course, you know, you can move it around. I'm not gonna keep it like a halo above our head, although I could. You know, that doesn't look that bad. It's subtle, but you can change this also. So I can come over here to my parameters. I can change the way, you know, it's there, which you may or may not wanna do, but you've got normal, screen, and add. I think screen tends to be the nicest, although I think, yeah, no, let's use that. And then from here, you know, you can make it more intense. Displacement, that's where we're really moving it around a bit. That looks good right there. You can change the blur. We can change the radius, obviously making it bigger or smaller. I did like where it was right about there. And then here on the offset, this is where, see how it starts to turn? Starts to actually make the whole rainbow. So this is where you can kind of move it around, and then you can change the angle. So it depends, you know, if you want a full rainbow, you want a half rainbow, you want on this side or that side, that's where you're gonna do that. You know, I actually am kind of liking it there. I'm not gonna lie, that looks good to me. And maybe we'll bring up the softness of this, but that's pretty cool. That's just fun, right? So let's go ahead and process that. All right, so much fun. Let's look at those two side by side. What a huge difference. And you know, if you had just looked at this on Instagram, and this was my thing with, I mentioned that, you know, I would look at my friends' photos and it's like, how did she do that? How did she get the rainbow? How does it always look awesome? Well, it was basically this. So if you just looked at this on social media, you probably would be baffled, but now you know the dirty little secret that so many photographers use. Of course, it's preference. You might like this photo better than this one, but there's certainly endless possibilities to what you can do with this program. I really like this photo. So fun. Looking for some inspiration? Then make sure you download my free posing inspiration guide. It's full of ideas for individuals, couples, and groups. Grab it in the link below. So that's it. That's what Boris FX Optics looks like, and really how I found that I would use it. Of course, you have the ability to do whatever you want, literally whatever you can dream in here. Plus, you have every preset known to man. I have to say, it's almost a no-brainer to have this in your arsenal for post-production, no matter what kind of photography that you have. It doesn't have to be crazy. It can be subtle. It can match your work, give it that little bit of extra wow factor to your images, and hey, give you some more creative options when you're editing your photos. So that's it. If you want to take a look at Boris FX Optics, I do have a link below in the description here. I would love it if you checked it out, because obviously I'm only showing you the tip of what this program can do. There are lots of videos that will help you see it to its fullest potential, and I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun with it. My name is Vanessa Joy. I would love it if you stuck around, hit subscribe, rang the bell, and let me know what you think of this type of editing in photos. At the very least, now you know potentially why your photos don't look as good as that other person's. Hey, it took me forever to learn it, so bye.